The Knicks are expected to have a busy offseason acquiring assets, but SNY reports New York is hesitant to trade, quote, significant assets to land New Orleans superstar Anthony Davis. The report adds the Knicks are uncomfortable giving up too much for one high-profile player, kind of like they did with Carmelo Anthony a few years back. Kevin Durant's injury status will have a big influence this offseason since KD was rumored to be headed to the Big Apple as a free agent. There are only so many superstar free agents or trade players available, and it's likely that pool just thinned. AD only 26. Shannon, how do you think Durant's injury affects the trade market now for AD?
Well, if I'm AD and I want to compete and win a title right away, I do not want to go to the Knicks. Skip, I do not believe Kevin Durant is playing in the 2020 season. Basically, he's a 2021 player. It's almost as if you get a great price for a Renoir, but you know you got to do some work to the frame, need a few touch-ups, so you got to send it off. Now, it's not like you're going to turn it down because it is what it is. It's a Renoir. So you want it, just know you're not going to hang it until 2021. Well, Kevin Durant is still Kevin Durant. And just know he's not going to play for you until 2021. If I'm Anthony Davis, I'm trying to compete right now. There's only one place that he can really go that was on his list that he can compete right now. Skip, and you know where that is. And they still have the best assets. What I don't get for the Knicks is they're saying, well, we don't want to give up. Let me tell you what Anthony Davis is. Skip, before this trade talk really jumped off, in 41 games, Anthony Davis was 29, 13, 2.5. He's 26 years old. I'm trying to think, what player do you have Knicks? Or what do you think RJ Barrett will be? RJ Barrett will be. Do you think any of those guys that's on your roster right now will ever, on their best season, give you 29-13? Skip, even though he sat out these games here and there, they was playing with him because they were upset because he requested a trade. And he was, he wasn't on the sideline, he wasn't doing this or he wasn't doing that. He was still 26-12. Can I interest you in that? Skip, it makes no sense to me. So it seems like, okay, we don't want to really give up Kevin Knox, RJ Barrett, Moutier, Dennis Smith Jr. Really? Really? For a chance at Anthony Davis. Skip, I believe Anthony Davis is a transcendent figure. I believe he's that type of player. And you put him with you-know-who out in L.A. in the purple and gold, the sky's the limit. And the sky is a championship, and that would be next year. So I do not, the Knicks, well, so now all of a sudden, this is even looking even better than I could possibly hope to imagine. Because it was reported yesterday that Rich Paul, I think it was in Sports Illustrated, Skip, Boston, go on and trade for him. You get 1 year.
Sure.
Fact.
I get that. Yeah.
Oh, Red Paul, swing your weight, Rich. You know, Rich, a small man, Skip.
He is.
But he a lot heavier than what he would assume. I mean, you look at him, his stature, like, man, look at little Rich. But he weigh like 700 pounds. Because when he swings his weight, things move.
Well, wait, he swung and missed at last year's trade deadline, right?
Skip, at the end of the day, it didn't happen then. Because guess what, Skip? Sometime in the movie, you don't get the girl in the beginning of the movie, but in the end, you walk off into the sunset happily ever after.
Okay. So before I address Jen's question, I got to address your opening analogy of your Renoir that has a scuffed frame or whatever it is. You can get that fixed in a day. It doesn't take a year before you get your Renoir back. No. I don't know. That's
no.
Skip.
Skip.
Send it out. Get it reframed.
No. Sometimes you got them damages. You got to send that thing overseas. You got to let them masters.
I wouldn't know.
You got to let that thing. I might have something hung up on my wall. You don't know, Skip.
You might have pictures of Shannon Sharp all on every wall in your house, right? Back in the day,
Skip.
You used to be Shannon Sharp?
Skip, why you dry snitch? Why would I tell you something? You come right back on air.
I've never even been in his house.
Yeah, you did.
Well,
yeah, you did.
okay.
I told you. I told you I might have a picture or two.
Okay, I'm here to announce to you, you finally got your wish. The Western Conference door just swung wide open for your man, LeBron James, and your Los Angeles Lakers, because the best player on the planet, Kevin Durant, will not play in the West next year because he won't even play in the East next year. To your point, it's almost certain he won't play at all next year. Maybe he could come back for the playoffs wherever he is next year, but that's even doubtful because we're so late in the game now, and he'll have this surgery, I assume, in the next few days. But it's usually about a year until you can come back full strength. So I would doubt that he would suddenly come back for next year's playoffs wherever he might be with, who knows, with the Nets or the Knicks or the Clippers or wherever he might be. But now it comes down to your man, LeBron James. For the first time in 14 years, he didn't have to play in the playoffs because he didn't get to play in the playoffs. So you can't throw the too many miles excuse back at me. The high mileage excuse just went out the window because your aging superstar entering his 17th season just got to rest and revitalize all through the playoffs, right? So you have told me that he will come back better than ever next year after his very disappointing first year. And you have already predicted he will be an MVP candidate next year, if not win his 5th MVP, right? So we got that on the record.
That is correct.
But there are also
that's on record.
Rampant reports that no premium free agent is interested in coming to join LeBron and especially to play for this clown act that is the Los Angeles Lakers right now, this chaotic clown act featuring Jeannie Buss and Linda Rambis and Kurt Rambis and Rob Pelinka. So if in fact no premium will come here, and I don't know if Jimmy Butler's included in premium or Kemba's premium, maybe not, but it basically comes down to AD or bust for LeBron next year in LA, right? And what is it going to take? Because the market is just escalating. David Griffin is in the proverbial catbird seat right now because he knows that LeBron and Rich Paul desperately need their other client, AD, in LA. And he knows.
Actually, Skip.
Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, Skip, he's not in the catbird seat because the Knicks are very, very hesitant. One of the few teams that has assets that the Pelicans could possibly want. One of these teams are saying, we don't want to be in another Carmelo Anthony situation. So as these teams pull away from the situation, Kevin Durant possibly being injured, now all of a sudden, hold on, you might only have one team that you can deal with.
Okay, but who is still under contract to the New Orleans Pelicans next year? Anthony Davis.
Let him walk out the door.
Jen knows because she covers the Pelicans. Right? He's
let him
under contract.
Let him walk out the door.
Okay.
He is.
Let it play all the way to next year's trade deadline. Does he want to have to be forced to go sit on the bench after that's all, folks, and the T-shirt that he wore? Do you want him to have to go through that again?
Do you want him back?
I think catbird seat is still David Griffin's right now. I think it's very clear that AD wants to go to L.A. and that L.A. desperately needs AD. So I think leverage advantage goes to David Griffin, the new GM of the Pelicans.
Well, Skip, it helps if you have leverage, if you have more than one person bidding on the service. And right now, it seems like the Knicks are very reluctant to bid on the services.
But there have to be 6 or 8 other teams out there that are very interested in Anthony Davis, and they'll say, well, we'll give you this, that. Who knows who they are? They're all laying in the weeds right now. It hasn't been reported.
What?
Who knows what?
But, Skip, hold on. If he's made it abundantly clear, now Anthony Davis, it's reported, the Clippers, the Lakers, and the Knicks. Okay, now he's made it abundantly clear those are his 3 teams. Now the Celtics say they're still very interested in trading for Anthony Davis. Rich Paul, who is the mouthpiece for Anthony Davis, said, okay, do it. You get 1 year.
Okay.
So are you willing to give up all those assets for 1 year, Skip? Are you?
Speaking of all those assets, are you, Shannon Sharp, willing to give up what was on the trading deadline table, as was widely reported, that the Lakers were willing to give, that LeBron and Rich Paul were willing to give for AD? And that's all the Lakers' kids. I love the kids way more than you do. Lonzo is going to be a star. He's 21 years of age. I believe Brandon Ingram will make some all-star teams. He's 21 years of age. I believe Kyle Kuzma will make an all-star team. He's 23 years of age. It's youth. It's unrealized potential. And we can throw in now the 4th pick in the draft. Who knows? It could be Darius Garland from Vanderbilt University, yet another pro pipeline star from.
He definitely got to go. He definitely got to go.
Okay. So that would be 4 assets. And if you want to throw in Josh Hart, I don't know what would work under the salary cap.
No,
but
we
he's
keep
going to be
it hard.
a consistently contributing NBA player will be Josh Hart. So
Yeah,
throw him in, and all of a sudden New Orleans is back in business. They are. I love this trade. I loved it at the trade deadline. I think your Pelicans should have just said, thank you very much. We're off to the races with the Laker kids.
Well, you know, what's worth noting
Skip, if you don't mind,
is that...
Yeah, hang on 1 second. Yep, go ahead.
Is that Rich Paul...
Skip, if you don't mind me...
1 second, Shannon.
Go ahead, Jen. Go ahead.
Sorry,
go ahead. Let Jen go ahead and finish her point.
Is that Rich Paul and David Griffin have a really good working relationship. It goes back to their days, championship win with LeBron in Cleveland. So now the lines of communication are at least open.
Yeah.
And the chances of perhaps a mutually beneficial situation result are very possible.
Okay, go ahead, Shannon.
Skip, if you don't mind me asking, of all the players that you named, be it Ingram, Kuzma, Lonzo, R.J. Barrett, Darius Garden, Moutier, Kevin Knox, which one of those guys in his best NBA season will give you what DeBrow, AD averages for a career?
Well,
which one of those guys will give you that
kind of... He'll end up being a little better than they will. But you keep saying he's transcended, and I say, what has he transcended? What has he done? Again, have the Pelicans been the most talented? No, they have not been the most talented team, but they have had another all-star in Drew Holiday, and they did have Julius Randle, and I don't see him lift a franchise up and make a deep playoff run. Is he really that guy, or is he that classic? Go ahead.
I do believe that he is, Skip, because, you know, sometimes we get seduced, and we say, well, look at what Magic did. Magic just went to the Lakers.